On Podcast Network, your team every day.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily podcast on the Chicago Bulls, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Here are your hosts, Matt Peck and Big Dave Watson.
What's up and welcome into Locked On Bulls, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. I'm Matt Peck. You can follow me on Twitter at Bulls_Peck. You can follow my co-host Big Dave at BAWL, B-A-W-L Sports. You can follow us at Locked On Bulls. Shoot us an email or at lockedonbulls@gmail.com or a text or a voicemail at 331-979-1369. Just a quick reminder to y'all before we get into today's topics that the NBA draft is just 10 days away. And you should keep an eye out for that Locked On live draft show. The NBA draft GOAT, Chad Ford, Locked On NBA draft host Rafael Barlow, and Locked On NBA host John Corrales will be live this year covering the NBA draft. It's Locked On NBA Draft 2021, brought to you by Built Bar. Get local expert analysis on each pick. Follow Locked On NBA on YouTube today to watch our live coverage on July 29th. At 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, Big Dave, some stuff to get to today. We've got Game 6 on deck, a potential closeout game for the Milwaukee Bucks, who have rallied from down 0-2 to take a 3-2 lead in these NBA Finals. And then after our finals talk, we're going to get into that silly report over the weekend from Matt Moore of Action Network saying that the Bulls are going to be, quote, big spenders in free agency, and that B, added the name Kyle Lowry to the point guard target mix for our Bulls. So we will dive into all of that. First and foremost, Big Dave, how are you? And did you enjoy that awesome Game 5 on Saturday night?
First of all, I'm beautiful, Matt. Hey, everybody. Nice to see y'all. Man, Matt, that is what you watch sports for. When you watch Game 5. That is what you watch it for, the back and forth, and then the fourth quarter. It's been like that the last two games. You know, just the push and the pull, and nobody wants to give an inch, and every bucket is being responded to by a bigger bucket. And then you just like, well, it's got to come down to just that one play, and it came down to that one play. Oh, my God, it was amazing. It was amazing. It was amazing.
We had the block in Game 4. And then we had the dunk in Game 5. As we were all watching that play out, the Bucks got to stop. And we're protecting, a small lead, but a lead. And the shot clock off because there was less than 24 seconds on the fourth quarter game clock. And so everybody was thinking, okay, if the Bucks just get that rebound and then protect the ball, get it across half court, and then just either play keep away or take the foul, the intentional foul that you would anticipate Phoenix to do to send Milwaukee to the line, hit your free throws, game over. No. Drew Holiday and Giannis say, okay, we got ourselves a little transition opportunity developing here.
Yeah.
Holiday throws a freaking haymaker that looks like it's going to get lost in the rafters of the Sun Stadium. And Giannis, being the freak that he is, goes up and gets that, flushes down a two-handed alley-oop dunk while getting shoved by Chris Paul for a three-point play. Game made, 3-2 series lead. I am running out of words and points of phrase and exaggerations to talk about just how good Giannis is in these finals, coming up huge in these clutch moments.
Yeah, it's starting to get dumb. Like, it really is. And I love what he's doing as far as critics are concerned, because one of his main criticisms was he can't shoot a jump shot. That's one of them. And what he's showing is, you know what? Don't really need to. You know what I mean? Like, just give me the ball and I'll go do Giannis stuff. And that's all you wanted to see. Like, my co-host for Ball on Bulls, Chris, says it looks like the Bucks fixed Giannis. They basically took the ball out of his hands and said, don't dribble it up the floor like we had you doing. Just go inside, set a bunch of picks for everybody else, find yourself a nice, carve yourself out a nice portion on the court, and dominate that. And go to work on that and eat and eat and eat and eat. And that's what he's been doing. It has been just so impressive to watch. And the second thing, Matt, is the free throws. Like, everybody's talking bad about his free throw shooting. He has hit them when they have counted.
He
what I
missed
mean?
a couple late in that game 5.
He did. He missed, and he missed that one after the alley-oop. But what did he do? He went up and he got the tip, right? And which was brilliant basketball, because he was like, I just missed this free throw. Let me not get the rebound. Let me go ahead and tip it out to Drew Holiday, who's a better free throw shooter than me or Chris Middleton, whichever one.
Yeah, it
better
was huge.
Huge, colossal. But yes, he missed those. But it's just the fact that he has been hitting them, especially when they do the countdown. It's to the point, Matt, where I know when he's going to shoot it, because it seems like he's using that countdown to time his own thing. Because if you notice, when he gets to 10, that's when he shoots. And they were working. When it had gotten to before 10 and he shot it, he had missed them. I noticed that last game. So I'm like, oh, Giannis is kind of timing this now. But now he won't have to worry about that going home to game 6. He can just do it how he wants. But what a game, Matt, by Giannis, man. His stats have been just astronomically stupid. It's just been amazing to watch. Just amazing to watch.
Truly. And you know, not only has Giannis been just otherworldly, but in these games that the Bucks have now been able to win, to take control of the series, they stole home court finally away from Phoenix with that road game 5 win, and they can close it out at home. So now the pressure's on them a little bit to close out at home, because you don't want to go back to Phoenix for a game 7. But not only is Giannis doing this, but Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday, man. I mean, Chris Middleton, 29, 7, and 5. Drew Holiday had 27 and 13 dimes and 3 steals and a block. You know, Holiday just showing it on the defensive end. The strip of Chris Paul, you know, in that previous game, late in the game, he's been hounding Chris Paul. He's been hounding Booker when he's been on him.
Yeah.
The question of whether or not the Milwaukee co-stars / role players would step up in this 3-game stretch where they have taken control of this series, their role players are outperforming Phoenix's role players.
Oh, without question, Matt. And I had said after game 3 that Phoenix should have been concerned, because even though that after game 3 it was a 2-1 series, I hadn't seen the Bucks have that game yet. You hadn't seen it yet. I saw Phoenix have it. I saw Chris Paul have his game in game 1, and I saw them have that game in game 2 when they couldn't miss a 3-point shot. They were unreal. But I hadn't seen the Bucks have their game yet. And that, by that I meant everybody puts it together. And you saw them all put it together in game 5. Dude, when it was 37-21 after the first quarter, and Giannis goes to the bench, they lost their minds. Drew Holiday lost his mind. He was out there scoring from the first quarter on. I believe he hit the first bucket of the game, if I'm not mistaken. But he was out there. Dude, when he got that ball, Matt, and he brought it down and got the rebound and stepped back for the 3-point shot in that fourth quarter, when it was 80-75, and he stepped back for a 3, I was like, okay, yeah. I don't know what you're going to do today, guys. This is going to be a tough one, because this dude is confident today. It's like he had just been waiting for that moment. In the NBA Finals, Matt, you know, it's just all about the team that has the moments. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And the Bucks have had the most moments, honestly. They have had the moments, man, that has happened. I didn't realize how impactful it would be with Sarge going out, but it has been.
It's been a big loss for them.
Yeah, because you needed another size, and you realize, oh, God, Kaminsky is terrible. He can't play out here. Kaminsky shouldn't be on the floor. And it's causing Ayton to have to play more minutes and do more things. Chris Paul, man, and listen, he hasn't been great, but I'm not taking anything away from Drew Holiday. Drew Holiday has been in Jersey, okay, and it's been a problem for him. So, yeah, the Bucks are putting it together, and I do expect them to put it together in Game 6. I really do.
Yeah, I mean, the question now is, you know, you had another 40-point night from Booker. You had a 20 and 10 double-double from CP3 with points and assists. You had a 20 and 10 double-double from Ayton with points and rebounds. And your other 2 starters, Crowder and Bridges, did each have, you know, at least double-digit scoring. not much from the Suns bench, but also not a big night from the Bucks bench. So if you're Monty Williams, who everybody thought kind of had the upper hand as far as coaching advantage over Budenholzer, given the Bucks' struggles earlier on this postseason and last postseason, now if you're Monty, like what do you do differently in Game 6 to try and keep this series alive? Go back to Phoenix for Game 7.
I mean, listen, Matt, the Suns shot what, like 60% from the field, and about 50% from three, and lost. And they had a guy who scored 40 again, and they lost. That is crazy. Like you're seeing things that doesn't equate to losing. You know what I mean?
They shot 55% from the field. They shot 68.5% from downtown.
Insanity. It's insanity. Because Bridges was going crazy. He was hitting all kinds of threes from everywhere. I mean, it was crazy watching that, man. But I don't know, man. But and again, shout out to Bobby Portis, man. Bobby Portis came up huge. Huge. Bobby. He was colossal in Game 5, man. I mean, just the shots he hit, that offensive rebound scrum he had, where he was in there with Ayton and he just got that ball and the and one, and then put up the muscles just to let you know what's going on. All I saw was contract when I saw that. I was like, that brother is getting a check. So, yeah, man, he has been very instrumental, and it was just very good to see that. And Chris Middleton, oh, my God. like the disrespectful shots he's hitting on these people. I thought he was about to keel over and go to sleep sometimes because he looked so tired. And he was like, no, give me the ball, crossover, step back, in your face, jumper.
The fact that in Game 5, Middleton still managed to shoot a little over 50%, 12 of 23 from the field, which are like crazy. In today's crazy true shooting percentage numbers that we see some of the most dominant offensive players and their insane efficiency, Zach LaVine among them, even still shooting over 50% with the level of difficulty that Chris Middleton has on these shots where like he's just guarded straight up. He's got a guy in his face and he's just hitting these shots anyway. Man, it's crazy.
Scary. It's so scary.
Can't wait for Game 6. Man, I'm excited. Big Dave, we got some Bulls stuff to get to, including the latest reports of the Bulls free agent targets, which, free agency's right around the corner. Before we do that, would you like to regale our Locked On Bulls listeners with stories of potential earnings if they use rockauto.com?
Gather around, kids. Gather around. Get your pets. Gather around. You know what you're here for. This episode is brought to you by our friends at Rock Auto. Now, with the ever-increasing numbers of making models, it's impossible for your local chain and auto parts store to stock up on the parts that you need. Now, why even endure and go through this pointless and seemingly intimidating questioning? Was your Odyssey an LX or an LA? What kind of oil do you need, 5W30 or 10W30? You don't know. And while you wait, the person behind the counter is sitting there counting their own money and eating donuts and chilling. By choosing the brand which their warehouse happens to carry? No more. We will not do that. You have computers with access to the one and only rockauto.com at home and in your hip pocket. Rock Auto is a family-owned business serving do-it-yourselfers for over 20 years. Reliably low prices for every single customer. They have everything you can need. Brake parts, tail lamps, motor oil, and yes, even new carpet. What you're going to do is you go to rockauto.com right now and see all the parts that are available for your car or your truck. And write in, this is what you do. This is the most important thing. Write in Locked On their How Did You Hear About Us box so they know that Matt and Dave sent you. Amazing selection, reliably low prices, all the parts your car will ever need. ROCKauto.com. Rock Auto.
Bellissimo. All right, we got to talk Bulls free agency rumors. This latest one came over the weekend from Matt Moore, formerly covered the NBA for CBS Sports. He is now with the Action Network, and he put out a column on Saturday with his intel from a few teams, including our Chicago Bulls. In case you didn't see it, here's the simple breakdown from Moore's report. The Bulls are expected to be big spenders in the free agent market, particularly at the guard position. They have $24 million in non-guaranteed salary between Thad Young and Tomas Satoransky, a $3 million team option on Ryan Arcidiacono, and much of the roster are restricted free agents. 4 names are tied to Chicago: Kyle Lowry, Dennis Schroeder, Lonzo Ball, and Spencer Dinwiddie. Chicago wants a playmaking point guard next to Zach LaVine. The Bulls had extensive talks with New Orleans about Ball trade at the deadline, but weren't able to reach a deal. Lowry will be the toughest get. Philly, Miami, and New Orleans are among the expected suitors for Lowry. The Pelicans would have to find a taker for Bledsoe to make such a deal happen. Boom. So there's that report from Matt Moore, Action Network, over the weekend. Let's start with this, Big Dave. Just generally speaking, saying that the Bulls are expected to be big spenders in free agency. Most of what Bulls fans have been hearing since the season ended, and we are just waiting for free agency, is they're kind of up against it. And, like they got Zach's contract looming in the very near future, and they don't really have a lot of flexibility, having brought in the Vooch contract, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And we know how the Reinsdorfs can be when it comes to their ducats. So what do you think about this report that seems to deviate from it's going to be tough for the Bulls to spend big this summer too? The Bulls are going to spend big this summer. What do you think about that?
That is something. It's something we're not used to hearing. Like for the reasons you just said. I'm more so used to hearing it from my baseball team than I am for the Chicago Bulls. Right. But it makes sense, and that's what I like about the article. I thought it was backed up with some line like, Satoransky and the untradeable Thaddeus Young. That's crazy. Like okay, you can have a move now. Arcidiacono, I think of all the 3 names he mentioned, I think he's the first one that's going to go. Like,
that's $3 million the Bulls get back in their pocket right there.
Yeah, done. Right, you're done. Like, thank you. You know what I mean?
As much as we love Archie, we love Archie.
We love some Archie, bro, but we understand this business, man. And I'm sure he does. And I'm sure he gets it too, man. And the fact he even got some millions out of this league says a lot about him, honestly. That dude works hard, and you like having a guy like that on your team. And I hope he continues NBA career because he deserves to. But yeah, I think that money is step 1. I honestly think Satoransky will be step 2, because if your main thing is you're trying to get a point guard, okay, so you get a point guard and then you got Kobe White. Like, what are we doing with Tomas? So I think you go ahead and you're gonna make that move too, and send him off on his merry way and let his NBA career continue. Thad Young, again, I don't know about, but of course I don't mind. I don't mind if you trade him and get that money and save it like that. But again, that's Zach's boy. You know what I mean? Like that's Zach's guy. You know what I mean? They are friends, bro. And you know the impact that he has here. Like, we ain't gonna sit here and act like Thaddeus Young did not play well for the Chicago Bulls last year. He did. He played very well and was one of the bright spots, you know what I mean? Including bringing out the greatness in Stacey King. Including bringing out the greatness in him by coming up with Magic Johnson. Just an amazing nickname. So yeah, he had a great season for the Bulls. He's the one wild card, I would say, Matt, that I don't know about. But I think Sato and especially Archie are the guys you're going to make those moves for. Now, here's the other thing, I would rather hear you talk more about this, is the restricted free agents he had said that the Bulls have on this team. Like, that struck me too, because I didn't think about that. Did that cross your mind? Because that didn't cross my mind at all.
Well, yeah. I mean, so most notably, you're talking about Lowry, right?
Yeah.
Expiring contract, restricted free agent. Bulls have, bird rights to Lowry. And that is the big decision they need to make if they want to clear more space. The other one being Daniel Tice, who's kind of a name that we talked about a lot at the back end of the season because he was such a productive player, stole Lowry's starting spot by the end of the season. And is a guy that maybe because of how good he is and the fact that there are teams around the league with money to throw around this summer, that he might be too expensive to keep. I would not anticipate the Bulls keeping Thad and keeping Daniel Tice, especially if we are also going to bring over Marko Simonovic from overseas and give a roster spot to that guy in the front court. So there are some decisions to make there. But, I think as Matt Moore was framing it in this report, there are ways for the Bulls to free up lots of cap space if they want to with, partial guarantee to Sato, thanks, bye-bye. partial guarantee to Thad. Thanks, bye-bye. Maybe you sign and trade Lowry, or maybe you just let him sign an offer sheet and walk. It would be hard to see that be the way that Lowry's tenure ends and getting nothing for him. But it's certainly possible that that's what happens. But the silver lining of that is, hey, we don't have to pay Lowry. Here's some money at our disposal. Obviously Aminu's tough unless they can find a way to move that contract. He's going to eat up, over above $10 million this next season. But hey, guess who's $8 million's about to come off the books? Felicio, bye-bye. Takena, bye-bye. There are ways that the Bulls can free up some money. And it's just a matter of how they want to use it. If in our previous episode, as we were discussing, do they want to take care of Zach right now so they don't have to worry about unrestricted free agency a year from now? They can restructure and extend his current deal and use the money that way. Or they can go and spend big and, as Moore pointed out, as we all have been talking about, spend big at the point guard position.
Yeah, the position of need. That's the one you truly, truly need, and you've got to have, which is why all these names have come up. Now, talking about these names, Matt, what we got? Kyle Lowry, Dennis Schroeder, Lonzo Ball.
Dinwiddie and Lonzo.
Dinwiddie, thank you. I guess the one name obviously standing out is Lonzo Ball. That's the name that doesn't surprise anybody at all. The most surprising name for me was Schroeder. I was looking like, what? Like, no, I don't know about that one, bro. Like, I don't think the Bulls are looking at Schroeder to, having money issues and then paying this dude all the money he wants. Like, that doesn't make any sense at all. So I don't see that.
I'm going to say no, thank you. Yeah, that's a hard pass for me.
Hard pass. Yeah, I agree, and I like Schroeder, but honestly, and he played with Billy Donovan, but that's a hard pass. Honestly, I don't think he fits in nicely with this team and what they're trying to do. I think Lonzo fits perfectly. Spencer Dinwiddie is a guy who's shown you he's a gun for hire. He's trying to get his money, because who would have thought he'd be here at this point in his NBA career? And he's just had this injury, so I know he's like, yo, man, it's time to kind of set myself off with some money. So I am not mad at him at all. But the name, Matt, Kyle Lowry, that is the name there, Kyle Lowry. I've always liked Kyle Lowry. My nickname for him is Biscuit. I've always called him Biscuit because he looked like he was a biscuit away from about 300 pounds. But he's my guy. I've always liked Kyle Lowry, man, and the way he's played, because it's so under the radar, but it's so important. When he gets hot, I mean, it's a wrap. You can forget it. And also just being a great facilitator and a solid defender. Like, he does all sorts of things. But he's at the age, I believe he's 36 now. And 35, excuse me.
Yeah.
And
so
he's at
35 and turning 36 in the 21-22 season.
So he is definitely at that age where this is my last go round to get some big money. And I've already done everything I've needed to do in this league. I've gotten all-star appearances, the all-NBAs, and I have a ring. So the only thing left to do is to get paid and get my money. So I think that's the main focus for Kyle Lowry, and it's a good focus. But he can still help your team. I don't see the Bulls being that team that gives him that kind of money that I think he's going to get or kind of command. I think teams like Philly, like he mentioned Philly, I think that's a team, it's too good of a story, for your hometown guy to come home and finish his career out there. And while the team is kind of ascending, being a top 3 team in the conference.
Right.
I think it's written too well for it to be, him ending his career in Chicago. I really do. I think it's just written way too well. And I just think he's going to cost a little bit too much than the Bulls are willing to pay. Like, it's just going to be a lot of money. If Schroeder's going to command some money, Kyle Lowry is, for goodness sake. So yeah, I don't see those two things as a fit. Of those names, I'm just still looking at Lonzo Ball, man. That's the only name I see. I'm like, yeah, that's the one that makes sense.
Yeah, those are some interesting thoughts on Lowry, and I want to talk about him a little bit more and look back at his contracts that he's had with Toronto. As you mentioned, he won't come cheap when it comes to maybe throwing Lowry into that category of Bulls point guard free agent targets. Before we continue our Kyle Lowry convo, though, wanted to take a quick break to tell y'all about BetOnline, which is the fast and easiest way to bet on all of your sports action. Baseball season's in full swing. Second half of the season, post All-Star break. You can track all of that action at BetOnline. Get all the latest news, odds, and info for all of your sporting needs. Major League Baseball, NBA, NHL, even UFC and MMA fights. Before the next pitch, head over to BetOnline on your laptop or mobile device to check out all the great sporting news, sign-up bonuses, and contest information. Don't sit on the sidelines anymore. This is your chance to get into the game. We've got Game 6 of the NBA Finals on deck.
Mm-hmm.
I'm probably going to throw some money at the Bucks closing this series out because I would love to see it, and I'd love to make a little bit of money doing it. So who do you got in Game 6 for the NBA Finals? Go sign up for an account at BetOnline and put some money on it. Put your money where your mouth is and make watching sports more fun. Head to that BetOnline website or use your mobile device to sign up today and receive a 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit when you use promo code LOCKEDON at sign up. So sign up for an account, put $100 in there. BetOnline is going to give you $50 extra to play with if you use promo code LOCKEDON at sign up. BetOnline, your online sportsbook experts. All right, so Dave, you were just talking about Kyle Lowry and the fact that he won't come cheap, as this is maybe the last time he's going to sign a contract where it's not just, hey, you're still a veteran kicking around. Will you take the vet minimum or a mid-level exception as a former star who's aging out? But he's going to cost some money. So interestingly, and we are recording this episode on Monday, early afternoon. This just came across my Twitter feed, Big Dave. So let's just jump right into this.
All right.
This is from the one and only Mark Stein, who is one of 5 NBA Twitter people who I have alerts set for 24/7, 365.
This is true.
Stein says there is rising buzz. New Orleans plans to enter the race for free agent to be Kyle Lowry. There will be several Lowry suitors. It's clear why the Pels, desperate to help Zion Williamson reach the playoffs, would want in. So Stein doubling down on the fact that Matt Moore from this report from the weekend said, yeah, the Pelicans certainly are a team that would be interested in Lowry's services, especially if they let Lonzo go elsewhere. Yeah. Philly and Miami being 2 other major suitors. And those are 2 playoff teams. Miami, obviously disappointing first-round exit, went to the finals last year, though. Philly, we'll see what happens with the whole Embiid-Simmons thing, but you got to imagine that they like the idea of pairing Kyle Lowry with Joel Embiid while he is an MVP frontrunner in this league. Yeah. But then it comes down to cost. Yes. Kyle Lowry might want to go chase another ring. He's got the one in Toronto. He might want to chase another ring and might be willing to take less money to do so for a team like Miami or Philly. But so he did a 1 year this past season, a 1-year, $30 million deal. Kind of like, the second three-peat MJ, who was just doing 1-year contracts for 30s of millions. Obviously, inflation-wise, that was crazy. And 1 year, 30 for an all-star this year is like, oh, yeah, that's about right. But so before that, his big payday came from 2017 to 2019, when spanning those 3 seasons, it was a 3-year, $100 million deal. So that's nothing to sneeze at. That's 33 and a third for 3 straight seasons, that's big money. Before that, 4 years, 48 from 2014 to 2017, when the dude was like legit all-star, bona fide all-star. That he hasn't had that, oh my God, eye-popping contract that some of today's all-stars are now signing. The maxes that younger stars are signing, where you're getting upwards of 200 million, 245, 250 million. Lowry hasn't had that contract in his career yet. So I don't see him signing like a 4-year mega max deal because he's past his prime. I think it's going to come down to, does Kyle Lowry want to get one more big payday, or does he want one more shot at a ring? Because I don't see how he gets both, Big Dave.
I think the only way he gets both, Matt, is Philly. And that's the only way I see it happening. But if you're asking, if the question you're asking is which one, it's going to be money. I truly believe that. I truly believe Kyle Lowry wants the money. And I'm not mad at him, because honestly, before that championship, we know how disrespected Kyle Lowry was. He was truly disrespected as a guard in this league. People were like, Kyle Lowry, they would speak of him like that. Like, Kyle Lowry, get out of here. Nobody took him seriously, honestly. And shout out to Toronto for always believing in that man, because honestly, they made a nice home for him. So, but I've always liked Kyle Lowry. I've liked his game and how he plays, because it's very under the radar and unassuming, and he's very quiet, but he plays hard, and that's why he stays in the league, and he scores. And you don't become an all NBA player without being good. That's just the rules. That's how it goes. So I think with all of that, Matt, and to already accomplish something that nobody thought he would do in his career, especially during an era of LeBron James and against the era of LeBron James and the Golden State Warriors, pretty much. You didn't think Toronto was going to have that shot to do it. So the fact that he did that and has already accomplished it, what else is there? If he's never ever, like you said, Matt, you said he's never ever had that big payday. It's never came to him like that. Well, it's time. He's about to get these checks. Those two boys he got are getting older every single day. It's time to pay some money for Kyle Lowry, and I'm not mad at him to go and get it. Honestly, go get your money, Kyle Lowry. You deserve it.
Yeah, so I didn't know this until I went and looked at Lowry's stats and whatnot on Basketball Reference this morning. But so the 2021 season, he was not an all-star. And I'm thinking largely it was because he only played 46 games. So he missed a good chunk of time. His production fell a little bit, but he still averaged 17, 7, and 5. Like nothing to sneeze at.
Nothing.
And the 6 seasons prior to that, so from 2014-15 to the 2019-20 season, he was an all-star every season, 6 in a row.
Wow.
Like, and yes, it was from his late 20s into his early 30s, but that prime, right? Those are your prime years. And he was an all-star every year for 6 years running. Obviously, context easier to do in the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference, whatever. The dude was a 6 straight years in a row all-star. And as you said, hasn't really ever been paid like that. Some people might think, oh, come on, 3 years, $100 million? Like that's a good contract. Yeah, but it's not by today's NBA superstar standards.
Correct.
It's not. And it's crazy that it's not, but it's not.
It's not.
So he might be looking for that one final big payday.
Yeah, there's no doubt in my mind he is, man. He's gonna and he deserves it, and I think he should get it. Now, you were talking about New Orleans, because now I'm thinking about the fit of him if he goes to New Orleans, playing next to Zion Williamson, playing next to Brandon Ingram, and those kind of guys. Yeah, of course you see the fit strictly because it's Zion Williamson. Like who's not going to fit next to that? Give that big huge man the basketball and get out the way. But Kyle Lowry also brings something that always is a great part of his game, which is stability. And if it's anything New Orleans needs, it's that, because they underachieved last season. They have you got 2 All-Stars on your team and you don't go to the playoffs. Like, for me, that's unacceptable. I can't accept that at all. Even in Memphis had, Jared Jackson, and they had, John Morant, even though they didn't have Jared for a lot of the season. But you still got those 2 guys who are all-star caliber guys. They've been in the playoff hunt every year. Every year the Giants been there. Those past 2 years, they've been in the playoff hunt. And to have a uber star in the making in Zion and to not be there yet, no. A guy like Kyle Lowry will come in and bring that kind of stability and kind of settle you down and make the game a little bit easier for those young guys who, honestly, Matt, they aren't used to winning right now. And he can bring that to a young team like that. But again, Kyle Lowry's out to get his chips. He's coming to get his money, all right? And that is crazy. Matt is right. By those standards, that contract, oh my God, that is no way. Guys are laughing at your contract, okay? They're like, oh man, I gave that to my daughter for Christmas. They are now laughing at your contract. So he is out to get his money, man, and he deserves to do it. So we'll see. I really think it's Philly though, Matt. I really do.
I Philly certainly seems to make sense. Like he can stay in the Eastern Conference, but go to an automatic contender. Philly, a team that's made deep playoff runs in each of the last several years. You got Embiid turning himself into a perennial MVP candidate kind of player. And if the Sixers decide to do the Embiid-Simmons divorce and they find a taker for Simmons and get off of that Simmons contract, obviously to make that work, they're going to have to take some money back, in contracts. But there are ways in which they can shed that Simmons contract and make themselves be able to have at least a breath of financial flexibility compared to where they are now.
Right.
In a way that Lowry coming on board and still getting something that he thinks is a fair salary is feasible. Not easy, but feasible, because It goes back to what you and I were talking about on an episode last weekend. And I think it was with our pal John. It's like, it doesn't matter. We talk about all of these, numbers, and, I think of Matthew McConaughey at the beginning of Wolf of Wall Street, where he's talking, he's like, very acidic above the eyeballs kind of shit, mustardy kind of shit. When you're talking about cap space, how does this work? How does that work? And restricted and unrestricted and bird rights. And it's like,
it's Wazi.
Yeah, it's Wazi. It doesn't matter. If a player whose name carries the weight, like Kyle Lowry's does in this league, wants to go to a team and that team wants him to come there, it gets done. In some way or another, it gets done. So do I think that the Bulls would be a front runner for Kyle Lowry's services, given that that is the most important element of all of this? I don't, because I don't see Kyle Lowry wanting to come to Chicago. He couldn't get a mega contract here, and it doesn't present him with the most immediate chance of winning and contending for a championship.
Yes, it's really that simple. Yes, it's that simple. You can restructure and take away all the money you want to. You're coming to a team that is lesser. You're coming to a team further away from home, and a team that won't be able to pay you as much as you could probably get. Yeah. Yeah. All right. Thanks, Kyle. I love you, man. We'll see you down the line. That's all you can say. That's all you can really say. Do you think, and what a mild slap in the face Alonzo Ball is, you know what I'm saying, Matt? What a mild face. Yeah, we don't want to pay you all that money. Hey, Kyle Lowry, 35-year-old Kyle Lowry. We gonna give you this check. You know what I'm saying? Like that's a mild slap in the face Alonzo Ball there.
But, I mean, old players win. Young players don't. It's been true forever. It's been true forever. Other than like Kareem and Magic.
Right.
And I guess to a certain extent, Kobe in the first Lakers three-peat, when he was still, he wasn't a rookie. Like, he had been around. He played MJ before MJ retired. So it's not like Kobe was a rookie when he won that first three-peat with the Lakers, but he was still fairly
Tim Duncan.
And Duncan in 99, certainly. Right. But, I mean, like, those are the exceptions, not the rule.
Those are elite people. Yes.
So that's why when you see Phoenix go and get a 40-year-old Chris Paul, and you're like, really? Like, you got Book, you got Ayton, like, what do you? And you're like, oh, old guys win, young guys don't. Lonzo, what have you done? You ain't done shit.
That's true. It's
Kyle
true.
Lowry's got a chip.
He's got a chip. He's got it, and you don't. And you're right, man. He hasn't done it. Like, if you're looking at accolades, and we talked on the last show about Zach LaVine's NBA trophy case being dusty. Alonzo's is pretty dusty, brother. Like,
what do you got? Oh, you sold a whole bunch of shoes, and then everybody who bought them realized they were crappy and awful. Cool. Kudos to you, sir.
Made an album.
Can't say I've listened to it.
I'm shocked.
if it's at least better than Denzel's, good for him. But that is a low bar, sir.
It's kind of like this. It's kind of like that.
I've been stacking paper, cuz.
Sloppy like Joe. Come on.
Sloppy like Joe.
Come on.
Oh, speaking of people who we don't have to pay next season, Denzel. Bye-bye.
Peace.
Oh my goodness. I saw somebody on Twitter this morning. I think they tagged us, or maybe the Locked On Bulls account. I think they also tagged our pal Fred, said, I'm going to tell my kids that the Bulls won the 2016 championship with the regular season MVP and finals MVP, and it was just a picture of Denzel and Bobby Portis with the Summer League trophy.
Fred's crazy. Yo, that's crazy. Dude, who could forget that? Who can forget that?
But Denzel, most people would argue that Summer League doesn't mean anything. Well, the people who said that have never won the Summer League championship.
You better say that again. How much you want to bet he sat back and had a stogie after that one right there? Like, I'm the man. I am the man. That's right. So glad. Man.
That was the pinnacle of Denzel's NBA career.
That was it. That's the guy. That's the guy. That was the guy we gave up Spencer Dinwiddie for. That guy.
Oh my God.
That's who we let him for.
I can't wait to see which team's problem Denzel becomes this summer.
Oh,
it ain't gonna be us.
Ain't gonna be this one. Him and Felicio out the door. That way. Get in the van. Get in the van. Oh, I can't wait to put them vans out on Twitter, man. I can't wait. Them vans are so ready.
We're close, baby. We're close. We've got one, maybe two NBA Finals games left. We've got Olympics, and then boom, August is right around the corner, and then it's free agency time, baby. Cannot wait. But in the meantime, check out our Locked On NBA draft coverage. Unfortunately, us Bulls fans don't have a first-round pick because that's conveyed to Orlando, given the results of the lottery. But even still, if you're an NBA draft junkie, if you're looking for context to see, hey, what are our Central Division opponents going to be doing? What's Cleveland going to do? What's Detroit going to do? Go check out all of the great Locked On NBA draft coverage, including the Ultimate Mock Draft, the first of which, several episodes, is now live in your feeds. If you just go on over to Locked On NBA and NBA Draft, you can find that content easily. It's great content to get you ready for that NBA Draft, which, again, is just 10 days away. We will be back again tomorrow with the fresh episode. We'll dive into some mailbags, so hit us up, 331-979-1369, or shoot us an email, lockedonbulls@gmail.com, or just hit us up on Facebook, Twitter with your questions. Bulls_Peck is me. Bow, BAWL Sports, is Dave, and we are at Locked On Bulls. For Dave, I'm Matt. Thanks for listening. As always, Bulls Nation, see red, be good. Peace out.